Hey guys, welcome to this week's version of Teddy's Teaching Tuesday. And today, we want to be going over different types of specialty bars. So I could spend a lot of time on this, but for today's episode, I just want to talk about the three most common specialty bars you find in different gyms and what you should be doing with them within your own training. So let's get to it. So, probably the most common type of specialty bar you'll find at different gyms is the trap bar. So there's a few different reasons you use this, but number one is that it can be a little bit easier on your low back. So as you can see, because of the shape of the bar, you step inside of the bar, and where the weight is loaded is actually a lot closer to your center of gravity than it is compared to a normal bar. So when you go to stand up with the weight, it's perfectly matched with your center of gravity as you stand up and set it back to the ground. Now, as I did my master's program, there's a few research papers I used over and over again that showed the trap bar versus a regular conventional deadlift is that the trap bar uses a lot more quad than it does the posterior chain, and then the conventional deadlift uses a lot more glute and hamstring. Now, both bars work all the different muscle groups, but there's a little bit more emphasis on quad and peak quad velocity and force within the trap bar. So because of its properties of being a little bit easier on the low back and still being able to handle quite a bit of different weight, you see this is actually the version of the deadlift they use in the new Army Combat Fitness Test, the ACFT. So this is a good alternative if you have trouble reaching the ground while keeping a flat back because of the high handles, or if you're a shorter person, you can easily flip it over and grab the low handles on the bar. Now you'll see different versions of this bar from different brands, or even an open versus a closed trap bar deadlift. Now the open trap bar deadlift is kind of nice because it allows you to do a few extra movements, but the most common one you will see in most gyms is this closed version of the trap bar. Now let's go on to the football bar that you've probably seen a lot of people bench with. So the second most common specialty bar you've probably seen at the gym is this football bar or Swiss bar. So essentially it's just a bar that has multiple grips that allows you to change your hand position on the bar. Now I like the ones that have angled grips, so that way it's a little bit easier on the shoulders. So there's two ways you can do it, which is where I call the palms closed, where it's at a 45-degree angle with your palm facing down, or you can flip it upside down so your palm is facing open. So both ways are acceptable, but the thing is, I like this bar because one, it allows you to have a different hand orientation to cause less wear and tear and ease the pressures on the shoulder. And then number two, you'll notice because it's angled and it's not perfectly aligned with the weight like a normal bar, you have to grip it so much harder. So again, grip strength is directly correlated with shoulder health. So by building up that grip strength in a different orientation, it's going to allow you to achieve better longevity with your shoulder joint, and ultimately allow you to train longer and get that bench press even higher than you normally could. Now, even though most people use this for bench press, you can easily use this for bent over rowing and other exercises of that nature. So let's go on to the third type of bar that you're going to see at most gyms, and that is the safety squat bar. So the third most common specialty bar you're going to see in gyms is the safety squat bar. So the name is actually a little deceiving because this bar can actually make it more difficult and not be as safe for a normal squat bar. I think the name is from just the pad alone, but when you look at the orientation of the weight, it's actually in front of you just a little bit like a front squat. But the thing is, because this is oriented on your upper back, it's going to push you forward a little bit and force you to use your core a lot more than a normal squat. So I like using this if, one, I'm having trouble staying upright in a regular back squat, and then number two, if you have any shoulder issues that you've been dealing with, this is a good way to take the pressure off the shoulders. So if there's one thing you take away from this video, the big thing is that a lot of these bars are used to promote longevity. So with the trap bar, you're taking pressure off the low back. With the football bar, you're taking pressure off the shoulder. safety squat bar, you're taking the pressure off the shoulder and building up your core a lot more. So there are many other different types of specialty bars out there, but these are the three I find to be the most common in many different gyms. Now, if you want to learn more about different specialty bars, please DM me, and I may create another video going over other different types of specialty bars. So, guys, I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you guys around.